Because if you want it, you got to go get it. Nobody's going to give you anything. You could be the smartest person in the room. You can be the most talented person in the room. You can be the most experienced person in the room. But a lot of things about timing. And then it happened again when I ran for sheriff. Even though I didn't know it, it was lessons that I was continuing to learn. And now as a sheriff, I know the things that my staff have to do work-wise, and I understand some of the things that they're going through.
Guys, this is Brianna Moore, your host of the Conversations Unearthed podcast, where y'all come for me, but you stay for the guests. Today, y'all, we got the heavy hitter in the house. If y'all don't know her, you need to know her, but this is a person who does not need any introduction whatsoever. But we have Sheriff Irving, Dr. Antionette V. Irving. We only got a few minutes with her, y'all. So before I jump, I don't want to do her whole bio and stuff like that. You here, and I want you to just tell people where you from, how you doing, and what you got going on today.
Well, hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Antionette Irving, and I'm your sheriff here in the city of Richmond. I'm born and raised in Richmond's Church Hill, from Creighton Court to the basketball court to the courts of justice. That's how people identify with me. But I love me some Richmond, and I want to make sure that I'm doing the best I can for the citizens of Richmond and for the people that I've grown up with and those people that I know I should be looking out for and taking care of.
Yes, ma'am. And I'm looking at all of these awards that you got here. So I'm not going to say all of them because that's going to take the whole hour. But I'm looking at, you got National Society of Leadership and Success Training Program. You're on the BSA Board of Directors. You got the John Jasper Trailblazer Award at 6 Mount Zion Baptist Church. Chairperson of the Community Criminal Justice Board. At this point, I need some background music because it's like a build-up. Living Legend Honoree at the National Alumni Association of Shaw University. Emerge VA Boot Camp. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Drum Major Award. Past President of the Virginia Center for Restorative Justice, and a ton of other stuff. So let's just, we gonna get right into it. Let's do a little bit of icebreaker questions just to kind of like warm you up a little bit.
Okay.
What is your favorite way to unwind after a long day in law enforcement?
Normally, I just go home and I hang out with my German Shepherds.
Okay. How many German Shepherds do you have?
I have 3.
Okay. If you were not in law enforcement, what career do you think you'd be in today?
I will be working my nonprofit, which is the Antionette V. Irving Foundation, which does give backs to young people in our community, our senior citizens, and just making sure that our community members are taken care of.
Okay, so we got a business owner on the pod, and that's what this show is about, financial literacy. So we go definitely get into that a little bit. And then what's one book or movie that's had a significant impact on how you view leadership?
One book
out of 50, I'm sure.
I read bits and pieces of different books. So I try to make sure that I read a little bit of leadership, mentoring, motivation, encouragement, and just how to structure around the community and individuals within. So I guess some of the Maxwell books I've read and I like them, but I kind of like just interacting with people and seeing how my walk in faith, how it relates to the Bible and how it relates to what I do in my community. The last real book that I read happened to be about deaths in custody. So that's a different type of book, just to try to understand what that's all about. Yeah,
deaths in custody. Well, that is something that I'm sure you've dealt with in your field, because you've been, how long have you been sheriff of Richmond, Virginia?
And we're completing our 7th year. Next year is my election year.
Okay, that's what's up. And I know, I think that your journey is one of like perseverance, because I know you ran for sheriff for a long time before you got it.
Absolutely.
So when people see you, I don't know if they know, but like you're a testament to never giving up, because you could have gave up a couple times, but like it, and I know when you were elected, it was like a big deal. Like, like you had a lot of people rooting for you. So, I mean, what made you not give up? Like, what was that push behind you? Did you have like family in your corner that's like, look, don't give up, this is for you? Was it your faith? Were you relying on your church family? Like, what gave you that push in order to keep on going?
I believe it was because of where I come from. And my goal always was to be able to do for people that look like me and come from the places that I've come from and gone through some of the things that I've gone through, and how is it that I can make life better. And really, it was a blessing having to run more than once. In that time period, I didn't realize it at the time, but it was a walk for me that I needed to take. As far as learning patience and learning understanding and just learning how to deal with people and how it is that you manage people.
Yeah.
So I think that was a benefit for me. But as they say, the third time was a charm.
Yeah. Right.
And we worked through it. But I had a lot of people that supported me and depended on me because of the community itself. And I think when you say it was a big deal, I believe the big deal came from me coming from the projects of the city. Yeah. Growing up in Church Hill. Going to HBCU, just being an RPS student, all those things, people look like me. And those are the people that we see incarcerated all the time. And I figure that if somebody like me can get in this type of position, then it's my responsibility to make sure that I give back, I do back, and make sure that people can level up.
Yeah. Yeah. And it seems like a lot of reasons why people do get into law enforcement is because they don't want... Again, a lot of people who get into law enforcement believe in second chances. Absolutely. And sometimes you've seen people that you've grown up with not get those second chances. And I just think it's a testament to who you are, that, you know, you are a Black woman, you are a Delta, you did graduate from an HBCU. So seeing you is not just a testament for you. Like, this was in the plan. This was in God's plan so that other people could see you and know that they could, you know, do the same thing. But so in your opinion, what are the biggest challenges facing underprivileged communities today? And how do you think the sheriff's office can be a part of the solution?
A lot of it is not just poverty, but not having the right jobs and not being able to do the things you want to do with your family. What I've said throughout my campaign, and I really live by this, is opportunity for opportunity. There are a lot of opportunities out there, but if you don't have an opportunity for that opportunity, it's not going to be a reality. So what I try to do at the sheriff's office, and my goal was not for people to have to wait till they go to the penitentiary. You know, you get 3 strikes, you go to penitentiary, and you get all these opportunities to take all these vocational classes and get all this treatment. So I said, once I get into the jail aspect of it, I'm going to give everybody the opportunity to only have 1 strike and give them that second chance in the beginning. Now, some people, it's not just a 1 strike. You know, you have to get it when you're ready to get it. But I wanted to make sure they had those opportunities. We make sure that we have those vocational classes now for individuals. Because if you don't have the skill to do certain things, you're going to do the hustle. Because that's how a lot of us grow up. We grow up off hustle, and we're going to revert back to what it is that we know or what we think works and what is good for other people in our neighborhood. It worked for them, so I guess it's going to work for me. Right. But you don't have that skill. And you either got to have the vocational or the academic in order to be able to survive in this world.
And I think a big issue, too, is unity. We not working together on our side of things, because I know, like, how I grew up, it was just me and my mom. I was a single mom. My dad died before I was born. So, like, I have friends now, Heather over here, I'm an entrepreneur at heart. Like, as far as investing, I love to invest. She has her MBA. She is, like, really good at business, which is 2 different things. So a lot of the things that she's doing the right way, I didn't even know it was a right way to do things. You know what I mean? And a lot of the opportunities that she's come up against or have found, just like on the internet, just applying for things and being picked for, like, pitch competitions and things like that. I didn't know nothing about it. I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna see if I'm gonna work another job, try to get some more money and try to invest. She's like, actually, no, you know, a bank could pay for that, right? Like, a bank could sponsor. I'm like, they can? Yeah. For real? Okay, cool. So yeah, I think it's that lack of unity, and then not knowing where to get help as well. So you said you had a nonprofit. Can you tell us a little bit about that? What made you start that?
Again, my nonprofit was to help people that look like me. Right. I grew up at the Salvation Army Boys and Girls Club.
Shout out to the Salvation Army Boys and Girls Club. So I gotta tell them how we connected because I'm in my phase of networking right now. So you were at the annual Salvation Army Boys and Girls Club alumni event, and I saw you walking up and down the halls. I saw you walking for about 5 or 10 minutes. I'm like, ooh, I want to go talk to her because I know who this is, but she don't know me. But we gonna see. I'm gonna go up to her. I said she could be on my podcast, and you were just like, yeah, I'll be on the podcast. Reach out to my people. We gonna schedule it for you. I was like, okay, cool. So I just like for people to know like the background of how these conversations come about, because who else? I mean, what other podcasts in Richmond, Virginia have you been on? Okay, you'd have been on CBS, ABC, Richmond Times-Dispatch, WTVR, because I did my research. I seen the interviews. This is not something, these conversations that people have with you, it's not normal. Like, I want to get to know you. So anyways, I'm sorry, I had to put that out there. But yeah, go ahead. I had to give your flowers a little bit. Give your flowers.
No problem. A lot of people have, the conversations I have with them are not always about the positive things that we do.
Right.
It's always about something that somebody wants to know or somebody's complained about. So I appreciate you actually asking, would you like to be on the podcast? I'm like, why not?
Yeah.
But my nonprofit, it's the same. And, I don't use grant funding or anything. I use funding from individuals in the community that donate as well as myself.
Okay.
Because once you get into using grants, I know a lot of people say that's not good. Grants tell you what to do and who you can spend your money on and what you can do with it. So I figure if it's something that I want to do for somebody, then I can go through my own nonprofit and make sure that kids that come from the neighborhoods that I come from and the areas that I come from can get some of the little things that people don't look at. And we can make sure people are eating, make sure they have clothes, just the small things that we do. We're not a large nonprofit, but we're an everyday nonprofit. That someone will pick up the phone and say, hey, can you help us with this? And I'd be like, sure, what is it? Where you want me to be and what do you want me to do? And that's what our nonprofit do. We look out for young people that grew up in, underprivileged neighborhoods or seniors that are struggling or parents that seem to be having a tough time. And it's just reaching back and reaching down and pulling other people up.
I love that.
Because I wish I would have had that. I know, I'm from a single parent family as well, even though my dad was around for a little while. But it's tough. And it's really tough now with the things that are going on. I know that somebody has to always be there to help other people. And that's the blessing that I would like to be, to know that I'm helping somebody to be better, even at a smaller age, and then also helping people to, as they grow up.
Right.
Kids that go off to college and they get to college, but they just can't make it while they're there. The little pieces that their family can't put out there for them. Just helping them to be able to connect with their family and continue to be in touch with them and get those little things that their family member may not be able to pay for them to get.
Okay. And then, we do a little rollout of who's coming on next. And when I posted your picture, everybody's like, oh my gosh, she goes to my church. Oh my gosh, she protects the pastor. Oh my gosh. So, can you tell me a little bit about that? Like, so were you tapped to take care of the people at St. Paul's Baptist Church? Or like, how are you still doing that? Like, how did that come about?
Well, originally it was, we're starting the church security ministry.
Oh,
and
okay.
it's a volunteer thing. And also I was working for Henrico County at the time, in the sheriff's office. And then we were doing different security jobs at the church. And every day we would do different things with the security inside of the church. And then it was an opportunity that was presented to say, come and help with what we do with the pastor. My mom was always the person that was with the pastor before I even joined the church.
Your mom was?
My mom was one of those persons that made sure he had coffee and had those conversations with him.
Shout out to mama. Shout out to mom.
When I was in college, I remember the conversations she used to have, and I say, who's this guy y'all talking about? And it took me a while to start actually going to St. Paul and being a member of St. Paul, because I grew up going to Whitfield Presbyterian Church, which was right 2 blocks from Creighton Court. And I walked to church. I've always been a part of church in some way. And I was doing security, and then I started working and giving my checks back to the church for working at the church. And then the pastor came to me and First Lady asked me about working with them and just being a part of the unity that they have back there And it's a good experience for me because it helps me, it teaches me how to serve. And I think in leadership, you have to know how to serve. If you don't serve first, you can't be a good leader.
Dang. Okay, you dropping bombs right now. I don't know who needed to hear that, but whew. All right, let's do a quick little fire round. So these are just yes or no questions. Rapid fire yes or no questions. 1, do you enjoy public speaking?
I've learned to.
Okay. Have you ever thought about writing a book?
Yes.
Do you believe in second chances?
Absolutely.
Do you prefer working in a team or working solo?
Depending on the situation.
Okay. Do you think every high school should teach financial literacy?
Absolutely.
Is there a moment in your career that you would relive if you could?
No, because it's set the way it is.
Okay. And have you ever faced a challenge that completely changed your perspective?
Absolutely.
Okay. Can we talk a little bit about that challenge? I know it was fire round, but I was going through to pick which ones you said yes or no to so I could figure out which one I really wanted to dig into your brain about. So What was that challenge that completely changed your perspective?
One, in my career, there were several times in my career. I started out, I moved real rapidly in my career at Henrico. By my first 5 years, I was already in a command position. I was a lieutenant in 5 years and earned it all. Working in Henrico as the first, a black female,
right.
And then becoming, one of the first majors there. But it was a challenging time for me, probably 8 years in that career that I went through a lot and felt that I should have been in the position that I wasn't in. And then history repeated itself later on in my career.
Yeah.
As I moved up in the ranks, same type of thing happened. Not knowing that was a preparation for me, especially how it is that I made myself go and learn stuff. And I tell my staff now, and I tell young people this, you got to go get it. You got to want it. You have to be hungry for stuff. Some people's no, you always can turn into a yes, but you have to have that desire, and you have to dig deep in yourself and figure out what is it that I'm doing or not doing, and how should I do it differently to ensure that because if you want it, you got to go get it. Nobody's going to give you anything. You can be the smartest person in the room. You can be the most talented person in the room. You can be the most experienced person in the room. But a lot of things about timing. And then it happened again when I ran for sheriff. Even though I didn't know it, it was lessons that I was continuing to learn. And now as a sheriff, I know the things that my staff have to do work-wise, and I understand some of the things that they're going through. And when you get in your purpose, and I strongly believe that that's where I am now, it's in my purpose to do the things that I'm doing, you look back and you say, I didn't know that, but that's what it was, and that's what it is. And we always think that we're supposed to do things in the time that we want to do them, but everything's in God's time.
Right. And
God knows the things that we need to work on in order to put us in the appropriate position to do the right thing for the right reasons.
Yeah, and I'm glad you said that too, because right now I'm on full purpose right now. I'm on full faith right now. I am a registered nurse. That's what I do. But I've recently gotten to a point where I don't want to do that anymore. So what do you do after you've worked blood, sweat, and tears for something and then you don't want to do it anymore? So I also invest in real estate. So I had the opportunity to flip a house, which allowed me to not have to work as much. So I'm at the hospital maybe once a month, if that.
Okay.
But I'm able to do this full time, and I talk a lot about impact. It's like, yeah, I'm at the hospital and I'm impacting a few people a day during my 12-hour shift. But with this podcast, this impact is not only deep, it's wide. So these messages, like anybody who comes to the podcast to talk, is always such a divine conversation. I don't think that anybody is here by mistake. Like this moment was written for some reason. Everything that you've done in the past has led up to this one connection between you and I don't take that for granted. That's why I'm just so excited that you're here, and I'm glad that you're able to instill into the people some type of wisdom, because like I said, we see you all the time. But in law enforcement, when you look at people in law enforcement, sometimes you got to look a little stern. You got to look a little mean. I feel really safe right now because we loaded. We locked and loaded on the hip. And, you don't get to see that soft side of people sometimes. So I think with this podcast or this episode, people have really gotten to see that you are really passionate about what you got going on. So in order to end this off, I do want to know what your favorite quote is. My favorite quote is by Dr. Seuss. And it is, you have to be odd to be number one. Do you have a favorite quote? If not, you done dropped a lot of quotables for us in this episode, so I get it if you don't. But
one of I guess my favorite quote is the one that I always tell people. You got to go get it. You just got to go get it. And the opportunity for opportunity. And I know, that doing the right thing for the right reasons, is always the right time to do right. And I strongly believe that. And that's just the type of person I am. And as you say, there are times when we have to look stern and firm and all those things. And I do pretty good with that.
Yes, ma'am.
My brother used to tell me that all the time. He's like, you switch up, but he said, I know you have to be there to protect yourself and be there to protect other people. So I try to treat people the way I've been treated better. How I've been treated. So it's better how I want to treat people. And I don't always get it right. And none of us always get it right. And we have to excuse ourselves for that sometimes and not, beat ourselves up because we don't always get it right, whether it's how we treat people or some of the things we say or some of the things we do. But those are our opportunities to correct ourselves and help ourselves to grow when we go through different things. But my thing is, when we get it right, it's time to go home. And God will call us home to go and do something else that he needs us to do. But, I don't know. I'm a work in progress. Yeah. I've come a long way. Just in this career, or since I've been in this career, I've come a long way in the last 6.5 years, trying to finish up year 7, going into year 8 for my reelection, hoping that I've done the things that the citizens of the city want and need, because we want to make sure, again, that we're making people better and helping them to be the best person they can be. We have a lot of things in the works that we want to do for individuals that just so happen to be incarcerated, and things that we want to do for people in the community. We have a lot going on at the sheriff's office, and people say to me, why are you doing so many things in the community? And I know this is off your question.
Oh, that's perfect.
But we do a lot of things in the community because the community that we serve are the people that we care for on the inside. And they're connected through their family members. And if there are things that we can do to help the family members to not be as impoverished as they are, then I think that's our responsibility to make sure that their family members eat, that their family members get the things that they need. I think we're a part of that. So once a month, we feed people in the community. We make sure that we have our food distribution. We have our safety clinics. We have our wellness drives. We have all those things for people in the community. Last year, we had 142 events in the city to make sure that we connected, especially with our young people and our seniors, to make sure that young people are not afraid of us. Young people know that they can come and talk to us, that all of us are not bad people, even though some people make mistakes. Some people do some things that are not right. And it makes all of us know that we have to work harder to build those relationships with our young people. Yeah. So we continue to do those types of things in the community. I'm going to a community event today. Right. Just to make sure that, I'm seen in the community. Like I say, I'm always out in the community. I'll have anywhere from 2 to 6 events a day. And that's a job for me.
And it's a Saturday, y'all.
It's a Saturday. It be Saturday, Sunday.
Sunday, every day.
It doesn't matter because I want to make sure that I'm making an impact. As you said earlier, I want to make an impact on the people that live in the community that I live in. Even though the community somehow seems to look like it's changing, but it's not. It's still people that need our help, our assistance, and to know that we care about them. And that's why we're doing so many things inside the facility as well to help the individuals to grow. I was talking earlier about vocational program. One of our biggest hits with the individuals that are there is forklifting. We teach them, we put them in a position to train in forklifting so that those individuals that are getting out are able to get jobs. We have individuals that went to Walmart, Amazon, those things, so they can do storage and stocking and things of that nature. One of the guys came up to me. I was at one of the events and said, "You probably don't remember me, but I can take care of my kid now. You know, and I'm not out there in those streets. And you'll be one of the first ones to hear this. We haven't put it out yet, but we're going to...
Breaking news alert.
In September, we're going to start classes with CDL training.
Whoa.
We have a CDL simulator that we're going to have our individuals that do qualify to learn how to drive tractor trailers and be able to, when they get out, be able to earn a good living. And we talked about poverty. How do you get out of poverty? Getting jobs and making sure that you can have your own business and sustain life with your family and make sure that you can do the things that you need to do to be a better person.
Ooh, yeah, because them truck drivers be getting to the bag, Dr. Irving. Let me tell you something. That is a breaking news alert. And I mean, and is this program, is this free for the people that's getting out? Is it like, because basically you just reactivating them back into society, which not a lot of people are doing or even know how to do. So how, like, do they come, are they learning this while they're in that facility and then they come out and they're able to just do it, or? They're
learning it while they're actually going to be a part of the simulator. I'm not sure, you younger than I am. We had driving school simulator when we were growing up, and we learned how to drive it as a part of school, and we used the simulator first, and then we went to behind the wheel. And it's similar to that. And, you know, our staff has been trained to actually help that process, to facilitate that for the individuals that are actually incarcerated inside of our facility, and we'll walk them through that path as to where they go after to ensure that they can get their licensure, and then they can go and get there behind the wheel and do all those things.
Wow, that's heavy. Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that with me and us, because this has been an iconic conversation. Okay, so I do got one more question, because, you know, Kamala's running for president.
Absolutely.
And Kamala is an AKA, and I have friends that's in sororities. I'm not, but I've heard that this is going to bring the sororities together. What I thought was that sororities were one branch of the same tree. But what I've learned recently is that it's a lot of different trees, and you guys are kind of separated by your values, how you volunteer and things like that, which is cool. Okay, but I'm hearing now that everybody is kind of coming together, which is like kind of a new thing. How you feeling about that? Also, the AKAs raised about $1 million. So these black women out here working. How you feeling about this?
Well, D9 is putting in the work.
Okay.
But a lot of people think that we're so against each other and we're all so different, but we're all pretty much the same.
Okay.
It's about service. And it's about serving our communities and making people better.
Right.
And putting our best foot forward so we can show other people how to put their best foot forward. So as far as people think we're apart, we're that much closer. And this race, when we get into things that D9 enjoy to do together, it just lets the public see us working together. I remember being the president of the Panhellenic Council when I was in college, and we all worked together. We met, we did things together. I remember protesting back in the day, you know, and doing different things, but we all did them together in unity. I think a lot of the dissection or the distance between the different groups come through individuals. And individuals like to see disruption. And as a group, we can get more done together.
Yes.
And we don't always show it, you know, because most people just see the different colors and the, you know, with competitions that you have, and everybody's out to get the same person to be a part of their sorority or fraternity.
Right.
But if we weren't all doing the same thing and didn't have the right perspective on life or didn't present the right image, people wouldn't want to be a part of it. And I know now some people are saying they don't want to be a part of it. That's on them.
Right.
You know, we all make choices in life. If you don't want to be a part of something, make sure you do it right, because some people gonna find themselves on the wrong end of that. But we are unified, regardless of what people say. But what you see, and you're gonna see it, D9 is gonna have a large impact on this election, which all of us in the African American community and in different communities. That's why it's so important that everybody gets out and vote. You have to register to vote. Get out and vote. Don't think that your vote doesn't count, because every vote counts every year. And if you live in the state of Virginia, probably every 6 months you voting for something.
Right.
And I don't like the fact that people only vote during presidential elections.
Yes. Talk about it.
People put the pressure on the president, whether it's not calling names, but whether it's Obama, whether it's Harris, whether it's Biden, whether it's Clinton, whomever it is, they can only do but so much. The people that you need to vote for throughout the years are the people that you have to hold accountable and
At
put
the local
them.
level.
You have to hold accountable on the local level, and you have to go up. As you go up, hold people accountable, but you got to do your part. Not just go out and vote, but hold them accountable and then be engaged. If you're not engaged, your voice gets to be silent. And people feel that I voted and that's enough. It's not. It's not. People hold me accountable. I'm not sure why they don't hold other people accountable. As you say, I'm on all the TV stations because somebody's trying to hold me accountable. So why don't we hold other elected officials accountable?
Yes, that's true.
Because that's a responsibility that we as a people have. Each person has that responsibility to ensure that they're doing the right thing for the right reasons because it's the right thing to do. And they have to. And as you see, I say that a lot.
Yes.
I say some of the same things all the time. And I know we can do better as a community. But we just got to work hard and hold each other accountable.
Yeah.
We have to hold each other accountable and not be afraid to speak up and speak out. Because it's our responsibility to do that.
Sound like we need to get Mayor Stoney up here. We got to get the delegates up here. I think Jennifer McClellan is going to be a guest up here. We need to get Rob Whitman up here. We need to get a bunch of people up here, to hold them accountable on things.
Absolutely.
But thank you so much for stopping by. Usually at the end of the podcast, I'm like, all right, shout out your social media, your Instagram. I don't know if the sheriff got any of that, but if you don't, or just let us know how we can support you in this next election.
Yeah, absolutely. The sheriff does have social media, so all you have to do is we RVA sheriff. So just hit us however you want. We're always hiring. I have a lot of civilian jobs. I have sworn jobs. We are always hiring, and we just looking for good people that's willing to do a good job. We'll teach you what to do. I didn't know how to do this job when I started. I had learned how to do this job. I had a lot of book sense, as my grandma used to say.
Right.
But to get the experience of doing what I'm doing now, somebody had to teach me that. And I had to listen. And it's like a sponge. You soak stuff in, you squeeze it, and what you get is what you get. But it's up to you to fine-tune and to polish things up to do the right thing. But I'm on social media, as some young people tell me. I know all about you. I just Googled you. And they found out so many things about me. They Googled who I was. They Googled the foundation. They, and they
you pop right up.
They'll follow my election. During the last election, the kids was riding by and they said, "We got you. We gonna make sure everybody know to vote for you." And then that night after the election, they was like, "Who won?" They wanted to make sure because they had been riding up and down the street all day telling people to vote. And I was happy for that. And a lot of that because I still interact with the kids at the Boys and Girls Club and the different community centers and the schools. So we want to make sure that we can stay connected. When we as adults remove ourselves from the lives of young people, we become half of the problem for them because they don't think they have anybody to communicate with. They don't have anybody to talk to that can tell them the relevance of life. And we separate ourselves from them. And they are suffering through so many things because all of us have gone through trauma. And I know you said this was the end, but we have to make sure that we can identify with the trauma.
I got all day with you. I know they told me you had to leave at 3. I do. But I'm here all day.
But we have to try to identify with the traumas that young people are going through.
Right.
Because we've all gone through them. And until we as adults can identify with our traumas, we can't really identify with the traumas of our young people. I still go back to my neighborhood where I grew up to ensure that I'm connected to those young people. I go to the house that I was born in. It probably won't be around too much longer because they tearing down Creighton Court. But I still go there and make sure that family has what they need.
Wow.
Whenever that is. But we have to make sure that we're connecting with our young people and connecting with our neighborhoods, especially now. I know there's a lot of gentrification and those things going on, but we need to have those relationships with those individuals in our neighborhoods as well. We're the back and forth strength in our communities. So we have to make sure that we're not getting lost in that.
Yeah.
But help people to know we are because we are. And we will be because we're here. And just to make sure that we can understand each other and we can live together. We all have differences.
Yeah.
We're all different. None of us are the same. That was intentional. And we can all learn from each other.
I love it. I love it so much. Dr. Irving said, if y'all need to call her, call 911. That's how you can reach her. Thank you so much for being here today. And I hope this is not the last time you stop by Conversations Unearthed. And for our listeners, vote Sheriff Irving in the next election, because we will be riding up and down the street with signs. We're gonna make sure to get her up in there, because this is the people's champ right here. Like, if you need a story of inspiration, determination, grit, you're looking right at her. You're looking right in your face, and she up in there. She not too far away, one call away. So anyways, thank y'all so much again, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you.
Wasn't too bad, was it? No, not too bad. Okay.